You're now tuned into the Shoot for Teams podcast with your favorite guys, Dorian and Kyle.
What's happening, everybody? Before this episode gets started, just wanted to give you a disclaimer that this episode was recorded on Monday. And as we all know, things in the NBA change daily. So we gave our predictions for the playoffs. Some things we may have said may be outdated by now, but it's nonetheless a great episode, and we hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, check out Shoot for Teams podcast with myself and my main man, Kyle Ross.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Shoot for Team podcast. Your guy, old man Ross, sweatsuits and fly kicks.
It's your man, D Hill. I'm low, but I'm still the gift card bandit.
I bet you are. What's up, man? How you doing?
Chilling, man. Having a good time.
That's dope. Of course, this is our favorite time of the year, playoff talk. We got the first round that just kicked off in the NBA. We're going to go through each individual matchups, give you our predictions, and then we're also going to give you two finalist categories for the awards at the end of the season. And we're just going to, have some fun as usual.
Yeah, just a quick little podcast, get y'all out there and hear our voices.
Of course. So we just dropped on our Instagram story a couple of days ago our predictions for each round. We'll go through Dorian, you can go through the West, and then I can go through the East if you like, and then we'll go from there, buddy.
All right.
So let's start off with okay, I'll take it, man. We'll start with Miami and Atlanta, that matchup right there. Your favorite guy, Trae Young. Ice cold Trae. I actually have Miami winning this.
Okay.
I got Miami winning in 5. I don't really see Atlanta doing much. Jimmy Butler and, of course, the dog pound, as you call them. Those dudes are serious over there. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, my boy Bam Bam is back. So I think the Heat being number 1 seed, I see them advancing this. Trae and them kind of struggled to get into the playoffs. They had to do 2 play-ins. I don't see much happening. What about you?
Yeah, I'm right with you. I think Jimmy Butler and those guys, Jimmy got them hungry. They're finally all healthy. They're playing well. I think they're just too much for Trae and them guys. I think John Collins came back.
He did.
But I don't think it's going to matter much. I think they'll be more physical with Trae, like people should be, and that'll, get him off his game. And I think they might sweep him, honestly.
Damn, a sweep?
I think so.
And well, I can see that. And my boy Capella got hurt, and that hurts them.
Yeah, so that hurts a lot of what they try to do.
And I know that's why John Collins tried to come back in. I mean, he's probably not 100%. We know that, but he just wanted to be a presence out there. He wanted to be in the playoffs, but I don't see them making a run like they did last year, going all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I still don't know how they did that last year. It was just a miracle run for them, I guess.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they clicked at the right time, and got those wins, and people didn't see it coming. Pause. Like, it was crazy.
I sure didn't.
But so we'll see. So you have them getting swept, and I got them going playing at least 5.
Yeah.
I surprised you. Normally I pick 7 games.
Nah, I got them getting out of here quick.
All right, cool. Well, we move on. Go. Who you got? Who you got over there?
So I'm going West, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll start off with let's do Nuggets versus the Warriors. This one was an interesting matchup before it started because people didn't know if Steph was going to come back. But they have been playing okay up and down since Draymond came back. They didn't really have that cohesion like everybody thought they would. But they start off the series pretty well. And Jordan Poole is surprising everyone, playing like the third Splash brother.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
And I got them them winning the series in probably 6. I think it's gonna be 6.
6 games.
6 games.
Okay.
6 games.
I love it. Let me say this now. I love the Joker.
Yeah.
I love the Joker. I think he could be MVP every year. But the fact that Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. and the injuries and just the uncertainty of the roster, right. I got the Warriors winning this. Clay is back. Steph is not 100%, but Steph being out there is still a problem and a threat.
Emotionally.
And then you mentioned Jordan Poole. You got Andrew Wiggins, Draymond. Those dudes have been there before. They're all champions, aside from obviously Jordan Poole and Wiggins. But I want to say I got it going.
Here we go, people.
5.
Oh, 5.
5. I got it 5. Only because, that, like I said, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. It's so much for the Joker to do. And, you know, Draymond can irritate you.
Of course.
And that's what he's going to do. You can't stop the Joker, but you can irritate him. And Draymond's going to try to get under his skin. And if those guys, Will Barton and the rest of those guys, if they step up, I feel like they could still a win, but it's going to be very hard against the Warriors.
Yeah. I mean, I think so too. If they had Jamal Murray and they had Michael Porter back, I think it would be a lot different. I think, you know, they could possibly go 7. But like you said, it's too much for the Joker to do all on his own. Not saying he's the only player on the team, because they've been playing without them guys the whole season, but it's a lot for him to do against a Warrior team that's fast and they get up and down the court, and he's not the fastest guy, we all know. So I think that might pose a problem for him, because, you know, he's a big guy and the Warriors can play small ball, get up and down, and just wreak havoc. So it'll be tough. I mean, he could, if anybody could do it, the Joker can. And you mentioned that he's been playing with this roster the whole season, but the playoffs are a lot different, as we know. And you know, it's about matchups, and then it's about adjustments. And it's going to be tough, you know, because he has to do everything and some. And then, you know, like I said, Will Barton and Monty Morris and those guys, Aaron Gordon, they can step up and take it to the next level. It's just, if Jordan Poole gave you 30 plus in game 1 and Steph and Clay just did whatever, mediocre, Steph is due. And so is Clay. It's scary.
So, you know, so I got him in 5, man. I'm not selfish in that sense at all.
Okay.
Let's see. So back to me, man. We'll go over to Philly and the Raptors. Ooh-wee. Everybody's favorite, James Harden. He's back in the playoffs. I got this series going 6 games. I know it's a lot of pressure on James. I think this is the most pressure on any player in the whole playoffs, James Harden. Nobody else really. I mean, Embiid, I don't see any pressure because he's been doing what he's been doing for the last 2 years. He got hurt last year, MVP candidate this year, still balling. If they don't win, okay, but he's going to give you his all. Tobias hasn't really been too consistent. And you got a young brother by the name of Maxey who's a stud.
Tyrese.
Where he's playing with house money. You know what I mean? But James is going to be the factor. Everybody's looking at him. He wanted to get out of Brooklyn. He's out of Brooklyn. I think a lot of people expecting Philly to win the chip.
Yeah.
I'm not one of
depending on who you talk to.
I'm not one of them. Sorry, Meek Mill. Sorry, James Embiid. I actually had a Raptors winning this in 6 games. I feel like once they get to Toronto, Drake and his antics running around the court, talking to Embiid, talking to James Harden, want to hug them and go to the club with them after. It's going to work. It's going to work out there in Jurassic Park. So I got the Raptors. I think Van Vliet and OG and Siakam, once they get it together, Gary Trent Jr., I think they could. And, of course, maybe Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes. I know he went down early. Hopefully he can come back. Yeah. Got the Raptors in 6, man.
Okay. I am going the other side of it.
Okay.
I think Philly is most likely going to win the series. I think it's going to go 6 again, like you said. I just think Embiid is too much for them. Like, there's nobody that could guard him. I'm sorry. Though I'm not a big James Harden fan, what he brings to the game, if he's playing the way he's supposed to be playing, it's hard to stop them. And then you add another young guy, another scorer, Tyrese Maxey, who has played well this whole year. You add him to the mix. I don't know. I think they got too much. And, you got Thibault, who gets to play in Philly only because, he not fully vaccinated, so he can't go and play in Toronto. Mm-hmm. But I think when those games are in Philly, he's a factor on defense.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, they're just too big. I just think they be more physical, more just efficient. Like, they know what they're gonna do. They're gonna dump the ball to Joel. If he got it, he gonna go for it. If not, he can kick it out to Tyrese. He can kick it out to Tobias. He can kick it out to James, and they can make plays. So I just think they're just too much for Toronto. I mean,
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, if Toronto had one more piece, I think they would be okay. But they just all, like, I feel like from the 3 to the 5, they're all the same size.
Okay.
And I know, people are skilled. I mean, you're in the NBA, but Joel is a different animal. And
yeah, he is.
It's a lot to deal with.
He's a monster. I was going to ask you, and you kind of hit like the 3 to 5. Yeah, OG and Siakam and Scotty Barnes. A lot of those are the same position. But could you pull Joel out to the perimeter 3-point line and kind of open up the floor? If I'm saying they're faster than he is. He can recover, and he's a hell of a defender. But could that work for them? Like, if you pull him out to the perimeter or try to play small ball? I don't know. I'm just asking. Like,
I mean, it's like a catch-22 with that, because you get him out there, but on the offensive end, he gonna punish you.
Yeah, that's true.
But
this is true.
I don't know. I mean, if I was Nick Nurse, I would definitely try it. Like, you gotta, like we're talking about with Golden State, you gotta play small ball, try to keep him running up and down the court. Maybe tire him out. I don't know, but they're gonna have to try something.
Yeah, they are, man. So you got them in 5? 6. Okay, we both got them in 6. Okay, that's some good basketball. 6. I can take 6 games in that series.
I'll take 6.
All right, we'll see. So you got Philly. I got Toronto. All right.
Yep. All right, back out west, we got number 1 seed, the Phoenix Suns, and the New Orleans Pelicans, who surprised everyone getting into the playoffs.
Was it a surprise?
What is happening?
Was it a surprise? Or or was somebody hanging out and got COVID?
Man.
Yeah, okay.
The Clippers gonna clip. That's all I'm gonna say. The Lakers fell off, allowed New Orleans to get in there. The Clippers couldn't. I don't know. It's not about the Clippers, but my apologies for the jackhammer in the back. If you can hear it, I don't know what's happening outside. It's like whenever you try to film a podcast, something always happen outside when you live in the hood.
That's a pandemic P out there with the owner of the Clippers. They out there doing some work, some yard work for you.
This is crazy.
We're good, man. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Our listeners know that this stuff goes on. We try to do stuff during the daytime. It's okay. Pardon us.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys, but we're just gonna keep it going. I'm sorry. Full ass jackhammer outside. If it ain't the cop sirens, it's a jackhammer
or a helicopter.
Helicopters or something, bro. So, like I said, we apologize for it, but we're just gonna keep it pushing.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, we got the Phoenix Suns versus New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans got in there. I'm really happy that, for Willie Green,
Me too.
Because it was looking bad for them. Like all season, it was looking bad. Like, damn, bro. Zion out there eating beignets every day and etouffee, and he wasn't involved. But I love the way they've been playing down the stretch. BI, and ever since CJ got there, it seems like they got good chemistry because not everybody could key in on Brandon. And now you have a 1-2 punch. When Brandon is going, CJ allows him to go. And when CJ's going, Brandon allows him to go. And they feed off each other. And they got some good young bigs out there. Like Valanciunas has played pretty well this whole season.
Yeah, he's solid. Valanciunas always been solid.
And then I forgot my boy with the wild hair. I'm blanking on his name right now.
You talking about Jackson Hayes?
There you go, Jackson Hayes. He comes in, provides energy, just be all over the place.
He's almost he has like a woman look too. But go ahead. Sorry, excuse me, listeners. I'm just being honest. It's all good. It's love. It's just...
but I mean, I'm happy for Willie that he's gotten into the playoffs. In this series, it's 2 black coaches, which is always good to see. Since it's so rare in sports to see 2 black head coaches that are actually elite coaches. They both are very good coaches. But all that to say, I think this is going to be a sweep. I build them up, chop them down. Damn, but I think this series is going to be a sweep. Yeah. I think Phoenix, again, they're too much, man. They play really fast. Devin Booker is on a different level. And then they got the leadership of Chris Paul. They've been there. They did this last year. They know what it takes to get to the chip. So they're going to be more experienced, and they're just going to be – I think they're just focused, and they know the goal at hand, and they're going to get the job done and try to get that rest.
Well, I keep it short and sweet. I agree with everything you said. Salute. I will say salute to Willie Green, as you mentioned. And I always talk about this. I'm biased, but anybody that's cut under that Popovich umbrella, which he came from Steve Kerr, Willie Green was there, won some championships with Golden State, and I'm happy for him. A brother in there, Monty Williams, he's cut from that Popovich cloth as well. Yeah. A lot of the successful coaches you see Popovich cloth. But I'm happy for Monty. I will say this. I thought Monty deserved Coach of the Year last year. I thought Phoenix should have got more looks. Mikal Bridges could have got Defensive Player last year. So hopefully this year, some of those awards will be given to those guys. But I think it's a cold sweep. I don't see much happening. BI, salute to you. He's kind of gotten better now that those trades have happened. CJ seems like a good fit for them when they get Zion next year. And some other guys, I think they got a good shot to at least be a contender in the West. I don't think they're gonna win anything, but they can be a contender. So I got Phoenix in 4. Should be a quick sweep.
Yep,
this is what it is. All right, man. Well, let me go ahead. It could be another sweep. Milwaukee Bucks, Chicago Bulls. It sucks because of injury. I will start and say that. I think that this series, if all players were there, would be a more competitive series. I don't even think the Bulls would have fallen to 6. I think they would have been higher. They had such a great season all season, and then near the end of the season, they started to kind of fall down. Zach LaVine, he was in and out of the lineups. Of course, our boy Caruso, Ball Brotherhood. And Lonzo Ball, he hasn't played in months, and that's defense what they rely on. And then DeMar DeRozan was an MVP candidate for most of the year, but it's hard to go against the Greek Freak, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, our favorite that don't get enough due. Lopez, obviously. Our boy Big Eyes, Bobby Portis, all those dudes are locked in. And you mentioned this with Phoenix. They were there last year. They won the championship last year. So they know how to turn the switch on. They know how to not coast, but prepare themselves mentally and physically for matchups and playoffs. And then Budenholzer, I think another Popovich umbrella, is a great coach. So I will be selfish and say that I got this going in 5.
Okay.
I think DeMar could, and Zach, I don't know. He's in and out of the lineup. I think DeMar can will a win out of the Bulls, but I think Giannis is just going to be too much. I should say the Bucks are going to be too much for him. So I got him in 5. You?
I will agree with you with the Bucks. You said that well. Everything that you said was on point as far as the series going. I just think that the Bulls will get 2.
Okay.
Okay. I think they'll get the 2 in Chicago. Make it interesting, but then, like you said, it's too much. There's nothing you could do with Giannis. That man is.
It's very scary.
I don't have no words. And then now they have shooting around him where he can kick out. And like you said, like the experience of what they went through last year is going to be a big help for them in their playoff run. Mm-hmm. A lot of people aren't talking about them as title favorites. It's not the sexy pick, I guess, but they're solid. You can't count them out. They're still the reigning champs. They still have an MVP candidate on their team, and they know what it takes to get it done. So, on the Bull side, I think Caruso came back. That's providing a little bit of defense. They're showing different looks as far on the defensive end, which I think Budenholzer will make adjustments to counteract that. But I think the Bulls at home, because of the excitement of them being back in the playoffs, and they'll be hyped up. I think they'll get 2, but after that, they out of here. They going to Cancun.
Pretty much. It's unfortunate. It's just a tough matchup for them in the first round.
Facts.
So
I mean, it sucks that like you said, if they wouldn't have had all those injuries, they were playing well the first half of the season. Second half of the season, not so much because of the injuries. And that affects your chemistry. And a lot of people had them, how the sports writers are in the early, they're title contenders, but injuries could definitely derail that.
They could change everything for sure. They were like top 3. I think they was top 3 in the East.
Easy. Yeah, top 3. Yeah. So that kind of messed them up. And unfortunately, they drew the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round, and that's not a good look for them.
And this is a fun fact that I'll give you. If Milwaukee wouldn't have rested their players, they would have been number 2 and played Brooklyn if they won. If they won, they would have played Brooklyn, and Boston would have been 3, so they would have played the Bulls. But Budenholzer,
very
Popovich,
strategic.
And it's not to say he was running from KD and Kyrie.
No, but who wants to play them in the first round?
That, and then also, I mean, you give Giannis and those guys rest, cool. I mean, Drew Holiday, I think, played for 6 seconds just to get that bonus.
Yep.
But that was just a fun fact. So that would have been a hell of a matchup.
A great one. Great one. All right, so back out west, we got the Dallas Mavericks against the Utah Jazz, a series that I do not want to watch any games because I hate watching Utah play. And the fact that Luka is not playing because of the calf strain just makes it, it's not appealing to me at all. I mean, I like to watch Donovan every now and then, but and Jordan Clarkson, but it's
because he got a Jazz jersey on.
But I think, for this series, if Luka's not playing, no disrespect to Spencer Dinwiddie and the other guys that are on the Mavericks, but they just don't have enough to compete with the Jazz. The Jazz, again, I mean, they are, for me, they're like a regular season team, and, they do all right in the first round, but then they just don't have that dog in them, and they crumble. So, this is an easy first-round matchup for them. But I think if Luka was there, he would cause a lot of problems. But because he's not, I think they will use their size, Rudy Gobert in the interior, and then, they just play smart. And if they do that, it'll be a quick one. I think they'll probably get out in 5. Maybe even a sweep. But I'm saying 5 because Luka might come back.
Damn. I wish
The calf injury is tough.
Wish I could rescind my pick. I didn't know this. I should have called Luka first. Thought he was going to play. I'm going to be a man of my word and stick to Dallas. But if Luka doesn't play, man, it's going to be tough for us. Mark Cuban and Spencer and
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd. And we got to start bringing old players back. Jason Terry, where you at? You know?
Gotta call Dirk. See if Dirk can come.
Dirk, we need you. I'm still gonna pick Dallas. I got Dallas. I got this series going 7 because Luka is gonna come back. So this series is gonna go 7 games. Luka is gonna have a calf all strapped up, ready to go, and he's gonna hit him with one of them floaters in Game 7 to take him over to the next round, like he did.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the definition of reaching.
Remember how he did your ex-Clippers last year, or was it a year before in the bubble?
It was 2 years ago. I mean, 2 years straight.
In the bubble when he had the one leg and he hit he's coming back to do that. Earl Monroe style. He gonna come out.
If this happened, then we headed straight to Vegas.
I'm telling you, Luka, you better be subscribed to our podcast. He's coming back Game 7. And they're gonna win, man. I love Donovan. I love him.
That's one of your guys, right?
Yeah, but then Rudy Gobert messed that whole thing up for me in Utah. Everything represents. I like Joe Ingles. They traded him after that man tore his Achilles. I don't have nothing against Jordan Clarkson, but me and Donovan is tight. But sorry, y'all not gonna get out the first round because Luka is coming. Luka is coming for you. Luka, I need you.
I respect it. It ain't gonna happen, but I respect it.
Yeah, you talking about a reach. Inspector Gadget, boy, it was a reach.
Oh,
so that's what I got. I got the Mavericks in 7.
Okay. Mavericks in 7. Hilarious, bro.
We going back to the East Coast, baby. And we're gonna round off, which should be the series of the first round, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics.
This is a series that has a feel of like an Eastern Conference Finals, but because of Brooklyn had their whole drama the whole year, they're a 7 seed.
That's true.
It kind of reminds this. I mean, I don't want to say it's going to happen, but it kind of reminds me of how North Carolina was an 8 seed in the tournament, but they weren't playing as an 8 seed going into the tournament. So they played well. They took advantage of their opportunities and they got to the chip. Not saying it's going to happen to Brooklyn, but
okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's just say what it is. He had to put his team in this segment, okay? Because they did so well. Shout out to North Carolina. Man. All his guys are coming back.
Yes.
A few people picked them, but I was surprised that they went to the chip. Salute
I didn't
to
even
them.
have them.
I know Hubert Davis had a lot of pressure on him his first year after our boy left and retired. So shout out to the Tar Heels. I hope they come back. Now the target's on their back, though. They're not going to be able to surprise nobody. Let's be your team. It wasn't good. They did not show Coach K the love on his way out. He might have to come back like Tom Brady.
You know why, though? You know why? Because they ran into the Tar Heels.
Oh, here we go.
Both times.
We feeling good. We getting ready to we'll do a NCAA podcast later anyway. Brooklyn, I agree with you. They're not a true 7 seed. Mm-hmm. And Kyrie, what he believed in, it caused him not to play certain games. KD got hurt. Mm-hmm. The shooter, what's my boy's name? Joe Harris. He was hurt. Then they had trades. They got Ben Simmons. They got rid of James. In and out of the lineups, inconsistencies. I think they had the most lineup changes damn near the whole season.
Them and the Clippers. Them and the Clippers had them
and the Clips. So it caused them to have to play the play-in game. They got in. They match up with the Celtics. The Celtics are another team that was interesting. Before All-Star, they were struggling.
Bad.
Like, I mean, they weren't good. They was talking bad about our boy Udoka, like, oh man, he shouldn't be the guy. And first year coach turned it around, had damn near the best record, one of the best records in the NBA after All-Star break. And salute to him. Another Popovich cloth. I'm just telling you. And the Celtics moved to the second seed. So now we got 2 and 7, which is, as you mentioned, could be an Eastern Conference matchup. This one's going 7. I don't know what nobody's thinking or what they going, you know, if we get what we got in game 1, this is going 7.
7.
The most hated man in basketball, well, second most hated man in basketball, but especially in Boston, is a bad boy. Vaccinated or not, that boy can hoop. I don't care what nobody says. He's a bad man. Y'all call him Uncle Drew. We call him Kyrie, whatever you want to, Mr. Irvin. My man Kev didn't have a good showing at first. They was kind of throwing a lot of bodies on him. But he's going to figure it out. And, you know, I think this is also – Boston had a lot of fire and ammo because of what Bruce Brown had said about them not having Michael what's his name? Williams. The big fella.
The big guy.
And he's not playing, but Al Horford and Tice are still NBA caliber centers. Al Horford is a champion. College, you know, you can't take nothing away from him. And Tice is a smart role player that knows his role at a high level. And I think that they took that personally. And then when you add Jason Tatum, who is part of the Kobe disciples, and Jaylen Brown, who we all love, and Marcus Smart, and the other role players they have, the Celtics are kind of scary. It's I mean, they are really a 2 seed. Yeah, they're kind of scary, especially in the East. So I say all that to say that I got it going 7. I wish it could go 10. But I got it going 7, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that Kev and Kyrie are going to close them out in Game 7.
So I'm going to go the opposite way because of all the things that you said about the Celtics. Okay. If Brooklyn plays cohesively and, you know, plays like they should, it may go your way, but I think the way that Boston plays defense and they're smothering, they're playing physical with KD, they're trying to throw different looks at Kyrie, but no matter what you do with Kyrie, he has a counter, and then he has a counter after that counter, and it's just hard to contain that dude. And he's such a high-level IQ guy that he knows the game well. Again, he's a Kobe guy too, so
right.
But I think Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and then Al Horford's experience, not only on the floor but in the locker room, is gonna, you know, be the deciding factor. These young guys, they got something to prove. Like, people wrote them off at the beginning of the season, and, you know, my boy Udoka got them playing well, and I just think, you know, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, all of them collectively. Even, you know, you got your boy White coming in off the bench.
They can shoot, plays defense.
Playing well. Everybody knows their role on the team, and everybody knows what they have to do. And I think they all felt some type of way of how the media talked about them so badly in the beginning of the season that they had to stick to their process, and they stuck to it. And now they're one of the best teams in the East. I mean, in the league, period. So I think if they maintain the way they've been playing from the second half of the season, even though it's Brooklyn and it's a tough first round matchup, I do have it going 7, but I think it's going to be in Boston. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a hostile environment for Kyrie.
I agree with that. And the dude's name is Robert Williams. So shout out to you. Robert Williams, but we don't want to, disrespect you in any sense.
If they had him,
it would be a different for sure. It'd be a different conversation. I think Drummond, if he can stay on the floor and not get stupid fouls, he makes his free throws. He's a big body. He can get rebounds in his sleep.
Exactly.
If he can stay on the floor, that helps. But the Celtics, you mentioned, their coaching is smart. They switch everything.
Mm-hmm.
Tice is another guy that will get in foul trouble, but he's faster than Drummond. He can pull him out, open up the floor. Jason Tatum will go to the basket. Jaylen Brown they're going to the basket. So I got it. But I'm gonna stick with Kev and Kyrie, Uncle Drew, and Easy Money Sniper. I think they could pull it out 7 games. Yeah, I got them. So we'll see. This is gonna be the one. I think this is the series of the first round for sure.
And I'm going to disagree with you.
Because
I think, which I say for last, I think this Memphis versus the Timberwolves matchup, I'll say the Brooklyn Celtics series might be the best series. This one might be a close second, but it'll be I think it's going to be the most entertaining series to watch because there's a lot of young guys that are trying to say, look, man, we here. Like you got Ja being Ja, and then Anthony Edwards is like, yo, like you can't forget about me.
Ant-Man.
Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, like there's Jaren Jackson. There's so many guys in this series that have something to prove. They don't want to be like, hey, we're not the young team that is just going like fold under pressure. Like they out there hooping like. What Memphis did this season was very surprising. Did not see this coming at all. No. Everybody knew they were emerging, but they took a huge leap.
Yes, they did.
Like they're the number 2 seed in the West. Like yes,
they did.
That's hard to say. And we all know how the West is. But Ja's play, Jaren Jackson's play, even Dylan Brooks and Zaire Williams, all of those guys on their team, like my boy Desmond Bain. There's so many guys, exactly, Super Swole. So many guys on that team that are locked in. They all know what they need to do. Josh said, I forgot something about a chimney because they want all the smoke. They run up the chimney because they want all the smoke. Minnesota, I think that win over the Clippers in the play-in game gave them a lot of confidence that they can compete. They showed that they competed in that first game. And Anthony Edwards is he a handful. He's a next one. I knew he was talented, but like he's taking his game to the next level. And he's even guarding Ja Morant, which is surprising. And kind of stay in front of him for the most part. I mean, nobody's ever going to stop Ja. And I got the Grizzlies in 7.
Woo, we got another 7.
I got 7.
I love it.
Selfishly, I got 7 because I want to see this matchup play out because they're 2 young teams that are hungry. And then I didn't even mention it, you got Mr. Antics himself, Pat Bev.
Come on. In his mind, they won the chip.
Bro, he lost his whole mind.
But it's okay.
I got it, though.
I get it, too.
His old team, he felt disrespected by the contract that they tried to give him. He went to Minnesota. He said they was going to make the playoffs. People laughed at him. He got them boys. He kind of played the role of a Jimmy Butler in Minnesota, but I think his approach was a little better than what Jimmy did there. He didn't call people soft. He said what it was. So those guys, believe in Pat. And hey, if I was a GM, I would have Pat on my team because he can turn a ball game around emotionally and have people frazzled, and that could change the whole series. We didn't see it so much in game 1, but I'm sure he'll rear his head soon.
If you look, and you hit everything on the head. If you look at all the championship teams in the last years or whatever, you go back 20 years, that caliber players there. Last year, PJ Tucker was them for the Bucks. Yes. And as you keep going down the list, you have a Shane Battier with Miami. That like you said, a do-it-all glue guy. That had 3 points, had 4 blocks, 5 steals. I got this guy in foul trouble. I made this guy, Pat Bev is different because of this. But you hate to say this, Draymond does that for Golden State.
True.
Marcus Smart does it for the Celtics. So every team, Mikal Bridges will do it for the Suns.
Yep.
You need those type of guys. I'm going with Minnesota. You know, I love Ant-Man. He's a Georgia guy. I told you in Special J, I thought he should have at least been co-rookie of the year when they gave it to LaMelo. There's no disrespect to LaMelo. He's a bad boy out there in Charlotte. But I think Ant-Man is a bad boy. Cat is a very skilled big man at times. He seems a little soft, but very skilled, can shoot. We saw that in three-point contest. D'Angelo Russell can get hot at any moment. You mentioned our boy Beasley can shoot. And they have a bunch of glue guys.
A lot of long dudes.
Yeah, that's tall, that can come in. I think Daniels is his name. They also have another, they're two brothers. One
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they have, like you said, guys that kind of know their roles that can switch everything. Yep. Memphis has those same type of guys, so it should be a good matchup. I have this one going 7. I feel like Cat will be the factor. Ant-Man is going to do his thing. Ja's going to do his thing, even if they cancel each other out. You mentioned Dylan Brooks, who's another irritating guy, but he knows his role well. Him and Pat are going to get into it. I know it's going to happen.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I think
it kind of almost did in the first game.
That's going to happen. It might be a technical. Hopefully nobody gets suspended, but it's going to happen. And then you look at D'Angelo Russell could be the factor for the Timberwolves, but then you got Bane that could be the factor for the Grizzlies. So you mentioned the matchup is perfect. I agree with you. I think this is a better matchup than the Brooklyn Celtics series. And this one is going to be a little more spicy, definitely real chippy. I got to go on 7. I'm selfish again, but I got to go on the T-Wolves. They're going to do it for KG and Marbury, our boy Wally Zerbiak. They're going to move on to the next round. But it's going to be a good series, probably some overtime games, but I got it going 7.
I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, that's going to be
not
dope.
Mad at it.
So that's really the first round, man. We got a lot of good matchups, a couple sweeps, a couple 5 series, but then we got a couple 7s and a couple 6s. So it should be a lot of basketball, ladies and gentlemen. We hope.
Yeah, I just don't want. I mean, I don't want it to be like all sweeps. Like I want people to have to work for it, man. Like
exactly. I agree with that, man. Selfishly. Before we get out of here, we saw the list of all the finalists for the NBA awards. We're going to touch on 2. The first one being Coach of the Year. In this category, they narrowed it down to Taylor Jenkins, which is the Grizzlies coach, Eric Spoelstra, the Heat coach, and Monty Williams, the Suns coach. There are a lot of coaches that they felt like got snubbed. Out of those 3, who do you think deserves Coach of the Year, my friend?
Man, you know where I'm going. To the Valley. Monty Williams. Man, he should have got it last year.
Agreed.
Monty done a hell of a job out there. I mean, there's not much you can say. Monty's a solid dude. I've rooted for Monty for a long time, especially after the tragedy that happened to him. I think he's done a great job picking himself up and just pushing forward. And again, like you said, he's from the Popovich cloth, and he got Phoenix, who 2 years ago was awful.
Yeah, true.
And now they're title contenders. That in itself should give that man the award unanimously. I think it should be unanimous, but I know it's not going to be. But I got Monty.
Okay. Before I give my pick, I want to say shout out to Taylor Jenkins and Eric Spoelstra, of course. 2 coaches that should be mentioned would be Udoka from the Celtics for what he did. First-year coach with the Celtics. A lot of pressure, but look where they are in the playoffs, and look where they ended up at the end of the season. Also, shout out to Ty Lue. I
didn't want to say it because I know that's my old team.
No, that's your new team. You back with him. Ty Lue deserves a couple nods. One, Kawhi never played. 2, PG was hurt for a lot of the season, but those young guys never stopped fighting. Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs. They were right there. A lot of close games. You saw a lot of growth in a lot of players. Coffee. Of course, what's my guy with the long hair?
Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann, you saw, just elevated his game. The big fella Zubac is always going to do what he had to do. And Reggie Jackson showed that he could be a leading point guard, had those guys locked in. Of course, the Morris twin is going to give you his work. But I just thought that Coach Lou should get a nod or at least, be recognized in the category. You hit everything on the head. Monty Williams, for me, hands down. I thought he could have got it last year. They gave it to Coach Tibbs, which is no disrespect, because the Knicks had been bad for so long. They made the playoffs, but then they back to showing you who they really are because they didn't do anything with the same roster, if not better roster. But I got Monty. I think that it should be some other awards going to that team as well, but we'll get into that in another podcast. But I got Monty for sure, as Coach of the Year. He should be two-time Coach of the Year. But
should be two-time.
Another combo.
Yeah. And then, so the other category we want to talk about is the Defensive Player of the Year. We got Mikal Bridges from the Suns.
See?
The guy that is always on the list, Rudy Gobert. And then we got Marcus Smart. I'm going to let you tackle this first since you feel some type of way about the Utah Jazz.
I'm not picking Mr. COVID, okay? He shut down all the sports. And it's just, listen, I'm going to tell you, and people can feel how they want to feel. You put him in every year. He doesn't have to do much. No disrespect to this man. He doesn't switch on every guard, and he's such a goober and so lanky and goofy. But if you could switch 1 through 5, which other guys can, Paul George and Draymond or whatever, and Mikal Bridges and Marcus Smart, then I'll be like, okay, defensive player. Dog, you're the tallest dude out there. Of course you're going to get blocks and rebounds. So he's excluded from my list forever.
Same.
I will say my guy Marcus Smart, I'm picking him. I think that he deserves it. It looks like he's evolved as a player mentally and because he was a little wild. I liked him when he was real wild, but because it was more antics back then.
Exactly.
So he, you didn't know what to expect. He was kind of a wild child at times. But now I don't know if it's just maturity and talking to the right people, involving, probably tired of paying technical fines and suspensions. Sure. He uses that to his advantage, but he's a very good defender, 1 through 5. He irritates you, that Kyle Lowry type guy, but plays great defense. He's going to dive on loose balls. He's going to defend the best player on the other team. So I actually have Marcus Smart, but, Mikal could get it any day as well. But I got Marcus Smart, my guy, just because I've been riding with him since day one.
Right. I'm going to agree with you on that, even though I love Mikal Bridges. But I think Marcus Smart deserves it. Like his activity on the defensive end is like unmatched. And he does whatever his team needs. He guards the toughest player every night. He's going to give you 120% plus some extra with the antics. And he's a wild card, but on defense, he shows his worth on the defensive end. And I think he's gotten snubbed in the past a couple times when they've given it to Rudy. So I think it's time for the NBA to right their wrongs and give it to Marcus Smart.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, DeJounte Murray could be in there. He's another defender that's A1. If PG played more, he could get it as well. But
of course,
and I think Jaren Jackson, I didn't want to leave him out.
Yeah, he's solid.
He's a great defender, and I think it kind of went unnoticed, but had a lot of blocks. And he's somebody that will switch on guards, and I just think that I can't say better defender, but he's a more mobile defender than Rudy Gobert. Rudy, it's the length there, but he's just clogging the middle. You're gonna get blocks the way that you play and the way that they they set him up with Utah's defense. I don't like it.
But I agree with what you said earlier. Like that's a part of defense, and you're the tallest man on the court. You're gonna get blocks. But if you like these other guys in the league now can switch on every position. If you can't guard somebody on the perimeter now and go like Jaren Jackson, like I feel like Jaren should have been in here instead of Rudy because he switches out, he guards people on the perimeter, but he's not just standing there waiting to block a shot. Like he's moving around and he comes from the weak side. He has great timing on his jumps for the blocks, everything. So I think, hopefully this is the last year they just have Rudy be a shoe-in because there's a lot of guys in the league that deserve to be there. And Rudy I feel like they just put his name in there just because.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of great guards and players. I mean, we mentioned another guy, Drew Holiday. I don't know where his steals were, but that's another guy that irritates people. And it's like elite players. You saw what he did to Chris Paul after game 2 last in the finals. Right. And that tricked over to this season. So when you have to guard, because it's a guard dominant league. So when you got to guard Ja Morant one night, then you got to guard Kyrie the next night, then a Kyle Lowry, and then whoever it might be. That's different than I don't know how many real centers are in the league. Let's just be honest. Joel Embiid, but he's gonna smoke anybody. So you're not doing that against Joel.
Nope. Or the Joker.
Or the Joker. You got smoked by. So it's only a few centers in the league, and I agree with you, man. As far as the NBA, they got to do better. Just put guards in there because there's so many great defensive guards. They don't get enough.
Man, I agree.
So, but yeah, those are two good categories. Those are our picks. This year, we'll see what the NBA comes out with. I feel confident with our picks, man. We're getting better at this. We're getting better at this, man.
And we would hope.
Anything else, man, before we get out of here?
Nah, not too much, man. Always check out our store online, hardwoodbrand.com. Check out our reels. We're starting to do a little, experiment with the reels. On Instagram, we always put stuff on stories and posts. So just check us out there. Share with your friends that are hoopers.
Yeah, for sure.
We appreciate all the support.
Yeah, comment, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please.
Please.
And like Dorian said, leave comments. Any topics you want us to touch on. Hit us up, man. And we appreciate all the love, all the support that you guys have always supported our brand from day one. And we're going to keep dropping new merch and new content. Just stay with us.
Yes, sir.
So that's about it, man. We getting out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of the first round of the playoffs. I feel confident with all our picks. Couple game 7s. It should be good. I'm signing off. Old Man Ross, Fly Kicks and Sweatsuits. Spread love and I hate.
It's your man D Hill, the gift card bandit. Get in the gym, shoot some jumpers. At least about 8.
Hold on, man. Hold on. You said you're low on gift cards. How we talking? How low are we talking?
Just Amazon.
1?
That's all I got.
Okay.
I won't say the amount that it is, but just 1.
Yeah, don't say the amount because then that's going to take you back up to whatever. Y'all be safe, man. Like we said, we appreciate y'all. Y'all stay safe, please.
Peace.